Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fight Night. This is episode 3, and I'm Jake, and once again, I'm joined by.
Rio, hello.
First and foremost, I would like to apologize for the lack of Fight Nights these past couple weeks. Rio was rather unreachable.
I was at a debate camp in Boston, Massachusetts, and the location I was at had just horrible, horrible internet, and to the point where I physically could not get Skype to work on my computer. In addition, I just didn't have my microphone on me, which would have made for just worse sound quality, and you would not get the sort of superfluous, beautiful Rio that you're getting right now.
Speaking of microphone quality, as some of you might have noticed in the Arkham Knight video, my mic has received a significant increase in quality. And funnily enough, I didn't actually buy a mic. I was walking around my house and I saw this microphone that I had had for years and I had no idea about. But anyway, so today we are here with another fight. Because of the Ant-Man movie, which should be releasing on the day that this is uploaded, we're going to be doing Ant-Man, aka,
We're going to do the Hank Pym Ant-Man over the
yes,
Scott Lang Ant-Man because Hank Pym is true Ant-Man.
yeah. So we're
Um,
doing Hank Pym versus Ray Palmer, the Atom. So, we decided beforehand a couple of things about these characters. The first thing that I'm going to bring up about the Atom is that we are using his TV incarnation because we decided that, Ant-Man can get as small as, like, a little smaller than an ant. But the Atom can get so infinitely small, he could get smaller than an atom and push Hank Pym's atoms apart.
yeah.
So, for that reason, we are going with the TV version of the Atom, which
The Atom as seen in The Flash and the Arrow TV shows on
yes,
CW, correct?
who notably does not have shrinking capabilities, although the idea of being able to shrink was discussed in the show, and when they tested it out, the suit kind of exploded and took a couple floors of the Palmer building with it, and I personally don't feel as though that is that big of a spoiler, because no one really knows what happened to Ray in the aftermath of that and everything. And
So,
then Rio has something to say about Ant-Man.
yes, so those of you such as myself who are tremendous fans of Hank Pym and his character, Hank Pym is a very, very close second to Barry Allen for my favorite comic book character, will be aware that Hank Pym has actually, on one or two occasions, shown that he can use Pym particles to grow to such a size of such great magnitude that he was able to extend past the barriers of our universe to enter what's called the overspace, which is described by the Marvel Wikia as a point above and apart from all other realities where it's possible to confer and discuss with abstract cosmic entities. So, yeah, I'm going to choose not to acknowledge this fact simply because I don't think that would be a fun debate if I was constantly just mentioning the fact that on one occasion in a really abstract comic book that no one knows about, Hank Pym was able to grow so large he exited the universe. I don't think that would be a fun debate, and I will
Additionally,
not.
that's just so powerful, it would crush the Atom in a split
In
second.
addition, that's bullshit.
Yeah. So anyway, who argued opening points first last time?
I have no idea. I mean, it'll be your birthday soon, so you should probably do it.
Okay. So, the combatant I have chosen to argue for is Ray Palmer, aka the Atom. So, Ray was, a normal billionaire businessman, about as normal as a billionaire businessman can be. And, he was having fun. He had his wife, and, they were doing the do. But, a problem happened in that, his wife got
Got
killed.
STDs.
Yeah, no. No, she was killed, and not by those. So Ray Palmer's wife was killed, and so he's like, "Oh shit, fam," and so he decided to become a superhero to make up for not being able to save her.
As you do.
Yes. So I'm going to get into his costume later, but first off, I'm going to discuss his skills outside of his costume. So he is considered to be, by the show's wiki, in peak physical condition. He is extremely physically fit, and he exercises regularly. He is a genius level. He has a genius level intellect, much like Hank Pym does. He is a master engineer, and he is so good at hand-to-hand combat that he held his own against Oliver Queen, who, might I remind our viewers, trained for several years on an island with one of the most powerful human-level supervillains around.
Ra's al Ghul?
No, he didn't actually train with Ra's al Ghul. He trained with Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've
only seen like 3 episodes of The Arrow.
But when people think of the Atom, they don't think of Ray Palmer in his fancy businessman suit running around and hitting people kind of hard. They think about the Atom suit. So, in many incarnations, the Atom suit's power, in my opinion, has varied pretty drastically. But this version of the Atom suit allows the wearer to fly at extreme speeds, enhance strength, to the degree where, well, there are 2 versions of the strength. For one thing, it can build up momentum during flight, and such thing would allow it to easily make like a large crater in concrete. But then it's also like metal, so the force it generates is a lot harder than just flesh. And then the mechanism, and this is an actual quote from the wiki, the mechanism in the suit allows a wearer to exert great strength and force with inhuman ease. Ray was able to hurt Deathbolt across a room and into a wall, leaving a dent. So basically he threw this guy and left a dent in a wall that I would assume is metal. And then he has knocked out metahumans with 1 punch. Additionally, the suit has increased durability, has resisted bullets, arrows, and explosions from missiles when he fought the League of Assassins jet. It does have weak points, those being a specific spot on the mask and the power pack on the left thigh. Other capabilities include a high-spectrum portable radiograph, an advanced computer system, facial recognition software, enhanced... I already mentioned enhanced strength. What am I doing? A compressed hard light blast, where it says it solidifies light and then shoots it out with force that is similar to that of a powerful windstorm. This is manually activated. They're powerful enough to crack concrete and physically repel a target, but the downside to this is it has to charge. Then the suit is also equipped with electricity projection, so he can shoot volts of arcs of electricity from his gloves, and these have been shown to be non-lethal in the show, but if he wanted to, he could charge it up with higher voltage for significantly more deadly attacks, and it can fire in as little as a millisecond. And the last capacity offered by his suit is the neural link, where he doesn't physically have to be inside the suit to be controlling it, because he has this, like, I guess you'd call it, well, it's a headset that he wears, and then he can, or anyone else theoretically, could control it from afar. And that's as much as I have to say in my opening statements about the Atom. Jake?
Okay, I'm going to be using Hank Pym. I'm not going to be using any adaptations of Hank Pym from movies or television. I have. Okay, look, man. No one asked for your opinion.
Okay.
Correct. Well, anyway, so just as my colleague did, I'm going to begin by discussing his skills outside of combat before moving on to his powers and technology. The first thing I will mention is his genius-level intellect. Hank Pym is one of the smartest people on the planet. His IQ rivals is said to be very close to Reed Richards, whose intelligence has been acknowledged by cosmic-level entities. Hank Pym has been acknowledged by the cosmic being Eternity, who, for those of you who aren't aware, is essentially the Marvel Universe taking human form. He has called Hank Pym the Scientist Supreme for his understanding of physics and biology. Um,
Wasn't he only like the third scientist supreme or something? I read that somewhere.
no, Eternity has described him as Eternity is has given Hank the title of Earth 616's Scientist Supreme.
Ah, okay.
In addition, Hank Pym, while similar to Ray Palmer, this is not what he's known for. Hank Pym has trained directly under Captain America, and as such, he has at least proficient knowledge of Captain America's unique combination of martial arts, making him a skilled hand-to-hand combatant. Um, he primarily uses this while in his smaller form, in order to take out opponents larger than himself. In his larger forms, he generally just relies on brute strength. Now I will move on to his power, speaking of his larger and smaller forms. So Hank Pym was was able to discover and build a machine in order to harness a unique substance known as Pym particles. While the nature, source, and mechanics of these Pym particles is unknown, it is known that they have a unique impact on matter, i.e., they're able to shunt large amounts of an object's mass into what is known as an extra-dimensional space, in order to enlarge or shrink an object. Hank Pym is able to shrink to pretty much whatever size he wants. He generally shrinks to about half an inch tall in order to better use his unique fighting style involving controlling ants. However, he can go much smaller than that. He is capable of shunting himself between dimensions, similar to the comic book rendition of the Atom. His control over his dimension shunting is actually quite good. He was able to, on one occasion, shunt into a very specific dimension in order to discuss something with the living tribunal.
Also, can I just say that this is a fairly nerfed version of Ant-Man in order to make it more of a fair fight?
Yes. Well, also shunting between dimensions probably won't help him.
Yeah.
Like
But I'm
that's
just saying, we're for majority of the fight, we're just going to say that he can shrink down to half an inch.
Yes. Shrinking down below half an inch would probably actually be more of a hindrance than a help, because at that point he's probably so small that like a gust of wind would kill him. He's also able to use Pym particles to do the exact reverse. He's able to, from this extra-dimensional field, in which to which he shunts his mass when he shrinks, he is able to pull a mass in order to enhance his size. As I mentioned, he can grow large enough to enter overspace, which is bullshit, and I'm not going to acknowledge. He's capable, I believe his limit is about 100 feet tall. He is capable of exceeding the height of some of the taller buildings in New York. It's not mentioned what buildings. I'm going to assume he can match about the height of like a 10-story building, so he can probably grow to be about 100 feet tall. When he grows this large, he gets all the things you'd expect from growing this large, such as enhanced strength, and enhanced weight. However, the thing that is probably most enhanced by his size gains is his durability. Yeah. I thought I was going
To
somewhere
what
with that.
degree is his strength and durability increased? See, this is unscripted, so there are going to be these awkward pauses all the time.
No, I can't find that data on the page I'm currently on.
Oh,
I'm going to
boy.
assume greatly. He's been shown like smashing buildings and stuff in his giant size.
Yeah, okay.
So you can take that for what it is.
Yeah. So, Steve, that was a nice opening statement. So let's get.
I'm not done.
Oh,
Brett.
oh no.
I have not yet brought up two powers he recently gained after performing genetic experiments on himself.
Oh no.
Because this is the sort of thing Hank Pym does in his spare time.
That's like the thing that Dr. Connors does. Is like, well, I could test this on like a mouse or something, or I could inject it into myself and become a giant lizard.
Yes. No, so the powers Hank Pym gained by performing genetic experiments on himself, because again, I guess when you're the smartest human on the planet, you get bored. Uh, he is capable of, similar to the Atom suit, he's capable of charging and releasing um, a, a concentrated blast of electricity from his hands,
Oh.
and he is able to grow wings with which he can fly at will, similar to his deceased wife, Janet Van
Is he
Dyne.
just... Oh, she's dead?
Yes, she's dead. She's like,
I was about to say, is he trying to put the Wasp out of business? But since she's dead, that would be in bad taste.
yeah, that would be bad taste. His top flight speed is unknown, but it has been seen that he's been able to catch up, flying with Iron Man while Iron Man was flying at full speed. So he's able to fly pretty fast.
Okay.
Now I'm done.
Okay, so our fighters are ready, and we're about to launch into the fight portion. So the first thing I'm seeing is, so theoretically, I'm going to say that the Atom suit is at least as fast as the Iron Man suit is in flight.
Yeah, that
So
good.
they're matched flyers, but how long does Ant-Man like instantly just pop his wings pop out, or does he have to take a second to like
No,
grow
he
them out
can
of
just
the
sort of
sack?
pop them out at will.
Ah, okay. So I have a feeling this would either be an airborne action, and can he fly when he's giant?
No, he can only fly when he's smaller than his normal size. I should have mentioned that.
Ah, okay. So I have a feeling this would be a fight in which Ray would probably start off in the air and then land, like, look at me, oh, I'm so cool. And then Ant-Man would turn giant, and then Ray would take off again. So,
Yeah.
the first thing is, I feel like Ray could take at least a couple hits from Ant-Man in giant form, because he's survived missiles from a jet aircraft that was used by the deadliest assassins on the planet.
Oh,
Yes,
so you would wager these are probably some of the higher quality missiles on the
yes,
market.
they're probably pretty high. They're probably some of the highest quality missiles you can get without going nuclear. Um,
Okay.
so he has survived that caliber of an explosion, and additionally, I don't feel like Hank Pym would enjoy being shocked with the electric shock thing.
Yes, but as a brief rebuttal to that, Hank Pym can also charge electric shocks, and they would probably be more disastrous to the Atom than they would be towards Pym, because the electric shocks could shut down his suit, rendering him to a normal human, while the electric shock would probably just like burn Hank Pym.
No. The difference is, with a powerful enough electric shock, Ray Palmer could theoretically, make Ant-Man's heart stop.
Yes, but Hank Pym could theoretically do the same. They have the same like electric shock power.
Yes, but the difference is Ray can activate his significantly faster, from what you said.
When did I mention there was a time limit? He can just
You said
fire
he
them.
can charge up in an electric.
Oh no, he can just fire them immediately.
Ray can fire his in a millisecond.
Okay, that might be slightly faster, but probably not a lot.
Yeah, okay. And then additionally, Ray has the hard light blast, which, if
If
Hank started to chase him in the air, or Steve, Rick, whatever your name is, so as Steve, Joe, whoever you are,
my name is Rio. Jesus fucking Christ, are you drunk?
uh, uh, don't tell nobody. Anyway, as my compatriot mentioned, so when he is that tiny, most anything would probably kill him. So I feel like if Ray could goad, Hank into following him through the air, the fight would be over.
Yeah.
So do you have anything to say, or are you just gonna be like, yeah?
Look, man, if you're gonna criticize my debating strategy, I just want to mention you've called me Steve 4 times in the past hour.
Oh,
So
yeah, I've also called you Rick and Joe and Jake. I don't know what your name is, man.
Okay. Okay, Jacob. I recommend you lay off the booze.
Okay, man.
Anyway, I don't honestly believe that the flying and shrinking will be of tremendous help to Hank. I believe his two greatest offensive capabilities in this will be growing and firing electric blasts. You mentioned that when Ray tried to shrink the suit, it exploded. Assuming that was an explosion based on the power, the power pack that you mentioned
I don't
powers the
believe it
entire
was a
boat.
power pack related explosion.
Okay.
It
Well,
might have been a trying to tempt the laws of physics explosion.
okay. Well, let's assume that that's about the amount of energy the suit harnesses. Is that a fair assumption?
Sure.
So, how large is the Palmer Tech building?
Fair. It's think of your standard high rise,
So, would you
like
say
Empire State Building, except shorter.
okay? So, would you say 50 stories is a good estimate?
Sure. Yeah.
According to the Marvel Wikia, Hank Pym is capable of matching the height of the tallest building in New York, the Empire State Building. So he could grow to be of similar size and mass to Ray Palmer's building, meaning that, um, assuming that the Atom suit harnesses as much energy as it released when it exploded and took out several floors of the building, that would not be enough force to kill Hank Pym, as he would be significantly larger than the Palmer Tech building, and that
No, no,
explosion
no. It's
destroyed.
the. I don't understand how height correlates to the amount of floors he would still be able to destroy.
Because, okay, so Hank Pym was capable of matching the height of the Empire State Building. So, assuming his mass grows at the same rate, like he gains as much mass as he does height,
Mm-hmm.
um, he would have significantly more mass and ergo significantly more durability than the Palmer Tech Building. The Atom suit was unable to destroy a large amount of the Palmer Tech Building.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm arguing is because Hank Pym in his giant form is probably more durable and contains more mass than the Palmer Tech Building, the suit, when Hank Pym is in his largest form, could not
Okay. Well, here's something. So,
kill.
Hank Pym is giant. Is Hank Pym the sort of person who would be talking while he's fighting?
Not generally, no.
Do you think Ray could get him talking?
Well,
Just to say as much as a sentence.
yes, Ray's kind of a sarcastic bastard. So
Yes.
yeah,
So, so Hank Pym is in giant form, and Ray gets him to say as much as a sentence. And in that time, Ray could boost his flying thrusters to their maximum
and fly into his
go
mouth and explode.
inside of Hank Pym. Now, at that point, Hank Pym could just shrink down, but that would kill the both of them. At that point, Ray could fly to his heart and electrically shock it into submission, or Ray could try to shrink down and then make his suit explode inside of Hank Pym.
Okay, that would be bad. That would actually be horrible. But again, that is Hank Pym's largest form. So that would probably be a last resort. He does get fatigued from using it. However, at that large form, imagine the strength of his bioelectric blasts. That would probably just be enough to instantly incinerate Ray.
Yes,
And
assuming they hit him. But
anything.
he can fly extremely quickly.
Can he fly faster than lightning?
I imagine that his reflexes are quick enough that he would see Ant-Man is about to go for an attack and then move out of the way.
Yeah, good point. But these electric blasts when he's in his giant form, we've never seen him use an electric blast in his giant form. But
Do we
unlike
know if he's capable of doing an electric blast?
yes,
in
he's
his giant
capable.
form?
He's capable. The only reason his wings don't work in his giant form is because they just can't support that much weight.
Okay.
When he's in that form, there's nothing. There's probably nothing that would prevent. We've never seen him do it, but there's nothing. There's no logical reason why he couldn't do an electric blast in his giant form. So the electric blast in his giant form, assuming they scale with his giant form, and he's not just firing a little pew pew laser instead of, an electric blast. I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, they would probably be extremely powerful. Um, Even if Ray was probably fast enough to see them, I'd estimate they might be large enough and have enough destructive power to catch him. If not, I agree he could probably dodge the actual electric blast, but like
The
the side
shockwave.
effects of it, the shockwave, the explosion, maybe even it
He
conducting along something else, he might not be able to avoid that. And what we have to remember is his suit is made of metal and it is powered by electrical energies. So,
Okay,
um,
so I understand why the actual electricity would beat him, but I feel as though he has the capability to survive the explosion and or shockwave.
oh, I'm not denying that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, say they're fighting in New York,
Hmm.
right? And Hank Pym fires it at a metal building, and Ray Palmer dodges it, right? The electricity would still be conducting along the ground, and if there's any rain or puddles or if the air is humid enough, it'll conduct in the air and it'll conduct along the metal building. And if any of that electricity touches Ray, his suit could theoretically short circuit.
Well,
Um,
we don't know if he has any like shock protectors or anything, technically.
okay,
So he could have something to prevent something like that.
yeah. I'm actually not a tremendous fan of this train of thought we're going down. This is it
Yeah.
being non-scripted because now we're
Because
saying
this is kind of about shutting off his suit and not making it a fair fight.
well, that's not even what I was saying. I'm just saying because now we're saying if he has something that
Yeah,
there's no
if.
evidence he has or doesn't have, um, then it'd be bad. Something else that I didn't mention in my opening statements, but Hank Pym can do is his famous ability to control ants.
Yeah.
Um, that there are presumably ventilation areas in Ray's suit so he can breathe
Hmm.
and such. Um, Theoretically, Hank Pym could use his Ant-Man helmet to control those ants into plugging up the suit.
See, the problem is, he could then activate his electricity projection and just shock all of the ants to death.
That's a valid argument. Um, do you think if Hank Pym was in his largest form, where he's about the size of the Empire State Building, that Ray Palmer could tank a punch from Hank?
Yes.
Do you? Do you think he? How
If
many
he
punches?
rolled with the punch.
Okay, how many punches do you think he could tank, assuming he rolled with them?
Probably two at best, two or three at best. But well, I don't really know how strong that punch would be.
It's shown to be strong enough to like bitch slap skyscrapers out of the way. So
Well, yeah, a missile can do that too.
good point. Um, so assuming he can tank two
Uh,
punches, a strategy that Hank Pym could use is shrink down to be about half an inch tall and use his wings to
Get real close.
get really close.
Well, how quick is his giant transformation?
It does take a few seconds, but like
In
if
that
Hank
time, Ray could probably start shocking him potentially to death.
okay. This is a fun fight. I actually like this. I think these two combatants are actually very evenly matched.
Extremely evenly matched.
Especially once you consider their offensive capabilities, especially with the electricity, which is what we've been debating a lot, are virtually identical, as are their flying speeds.
Yeah.
And I believe the just sheer power of Palmer's suit is a match for Hank Pym's giant form and its sheer power. So I believe this fight. I'm going to say this fight might be a tie.
All right.
Even
So,
50-50 split.
two ties in 3 episodes. This has
Yeah.
been Fight Night. I have been Jake, and I know that he has been Rio, even though I have called him a collection of like Joe, Jake, John, Steve. I don't know, man.
Yes, I am Rio.
And
Like,
this,
just throwing that out there. My name is Rio.
yeah, and this has been Fight Night. Thank you for watching.